How frustrating was the injury you had back in January? Just when you look at the way that your season was going and how on top of your game were, just did it feel like it derailed maybe all the progress you put together, or how did you feel about that?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. Yeah, I mean, listen, you never want to deal with an injury. Middle of the season's tough. And then, yeah, just the nature of the injury, how it happened. You lose your skate blade. It's sort of a freak accident, right? You fall on your knee. So, yeah, it was frustrating at the time, but like anything, you just, you got to handle it and move on. We had a lot of adversity throughout the room this year, so it wasn't only me. At that time, I felt like my game was in a good place, and so yeah, it was definitely frustrating to be out for that extended period of time and be away from the team. One of my goals this year coming in was to try and play all 82 games, so that didn't happen, unfortunately. So, but like I said, we had a lot of guys that battled through adversity, and I give a ton of credit to those to the guys that did deal with injuries, and came back and found a way to help us, and so yeah, it's never ideal to have a mid-season surgery.
Noah, you went into last offseason with a lot of uncertainty about your future. Now that's all settled. So knowing that that's behind you now, how much easier does the offseason become, because now you can just focus on your offseason work as opposed to have to worry about a contract?
Yeah, I mean, I think you always put a little bit of pressure on yourself in different ways. I think for me, now knowing I'm going to be here for the next 8 years, I owe it to this organization to come in and be my best self, on the ice, off the ice, and just then try to keep getting better, keep improving. And I think my first couple months here was great. I was super happy with how everything went, the guys, the room, and just being a member of this organization was awesome. So I'm happy I'm going to be here for a long time, and I think just going back into the summer and just kind of rebuilding a bit, getting better, getting stronger again, coming back, and knowing what to expect coming into an organization where I'm comfortable now. I think that'll be great.
Hey, Jack, you've had these last two playoff runs. You're at the top of the mountain, and you lose in a Game 7. I'm wondering, how wide is that range of emotions for you over the last 2 years?
Yeah, it's pretty wide. I think going into last season's post season run, with it being my first, you don't know what to expect. We obviously had a magical run, go on and win. So you just assume that's going to happen every year. And coming back this year, listen, I mean, I think if you asked every guy in the room, we would all agree that we believed we were gonna win again. And I really thought we had the team to do it. Hockey's it's an interesting game. It doesn't owe you anything, and I think we played 7 one-goal games against Dallas, so you come to learn pretty quickly. You get a bounce here and there. You could be on the other side of it. Even looking back last year, obviously we were able to win, but those first 2 games, we win both games in overtime, and it propels us. But the margin of victory, the margin of error is so small. So yeah, the range of emotions, to go back to your question, yeah, it was tough to, yesterday it was weird. I think you have that expectation of winning, and when that doesn't happen, you're trying to, gather your thoughts and what you could have done differently, what went differently, last year as opposed to this year, how we could have maybe been on the right side of the series, and but hockey's it's such a competitive game, and there's so much parity between the teams in the league, and everyone's competitive. You get in the playoffs, you talk to some of the guys in the room that seems like they've done it every year for double digit amount of years. the difference in winning and losing is so small.
For Noah, obviously you fit in pretty seamlessly. You mentioned the first couple months went well, you played well on the ice, but where do you see room for growth now that you've seen kind of what's expected of you here? Where do you think you can improve with a full off season and training camp with this team?
Well, I think just in terms of performance, it's just about my all around game, and but I think more importantly, it's just trying to step up in different areas, off the ice, leadership, kind of knowing I'm going to be here for a long time. And like I said, it's I've said it all along. It's a great culture here, and that's what happens when you have a room full of guys that have gone the distance and won. I think for me, that's something I want to get to that point, right? I want to be considered a winner and do that as well. So I think for me, it's just coming in and just trying to take a step in a leadership role and work hard every day and try to add to that culture that's already been established here. And that's something I'm going to look to try to do over the next couple of years, obviously. And this summer, just go back, regroup, reassess, and come in prepared and ready to go in the fall.
Jack, it seems like a couple of years ago when you missed the playoffs, it really seemed to fuel you last season. How much does the way this season might fuel you going into the off season?
I think it should fuel all of us. There's only one team that's satisfied at the end of the year. We happened to be that team last year. This year, there's only going to be one team, that feels satisfied about what they did this season, and that's not where we're going to be. So we want to get back to that point. It should fuel everyone. I know I'm sure going to use it as motivation, and come back and be as prepared as possible to have a good season.
For Noah, you came in and you played with a bunch of different players. Like, what specifically on the ice made it easy for you to fit in with everybody, it seemed like?
I don't know. I think that's just there's a lot of good defensemen on this team, and we had a really deep team and a deep back end, and all 8 guys are NHL hockey players and can play. And I think for me, it's just not really trying to change my game, no matter who you're playing with. Just try to be predictable for your partner and communicate. That's a huge thing. And I don't know. I feel like because of the time of the year, we weren't really practicing a ton. We were kind of just playing games, and sometimes you just get into it and you just wing it almost, and that almost helps. So. I don't know. I think it's credit to all the guys that I did play with. I mean, they're all super easy to play with, and they made the transition for me a lot easier coming into a new team. That's sometimes it's not the easiest thing in the world, but having good guys around you, good partners to play with, guys who talk. Johnny Stevens, the D coach. I mean, he helped me a lot. So I think that's probably where the credit's due.
For both of you guys, just how cool was it to finally play with each other together at the NHL level? And also, has there ever been a decider on what the BU-BC bet was earlier in the year?
There was no. I don't know if there was a bet made. Denver ended up winning, so I guess we all went home losers. But yeah, it was awesome. Noah and I have known each other for a long time and have gotten closer. The older we've gotten, so having the opportunity to now play together and continue to build our relationship, not only on the ice but off the ice, has been a real treat. So I know I've sure enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, same here. I mean, Jack's, growing up, knowing about him, playing hockey with him at the national program, and we kind of always cross paths a little bit. So now to play, on the same team here and in Vegas is awesome, and great teammate, great player. So excited for the future.
And Noah, you spoke about how easy it was to kind of fit in on the ice, but what about off the ice, like in the room? How quickly, how easily did you fit in, and how important was it for your teammates in that regard?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty easy, honestly. I mean, I think it also helps. There's a few other guys that are traded as well, so you get some new faces in there that are kind of going through that same process. But I think having Jack, he made a huge difference for me, just kind of settling me in and introducing me to all the guys. And but it's a veteran group. It's an older group of guys that they get it, and they know how to welcome new players into the team. And I think for me that's what made it easy. Sometimes it can be could be a little weird, when you go into a team, that just won a Stanley Cup. They're a really close group, and you're kind of the outsider coming in. But I never felt that way at all. It was right from the beginning. The guys were all welcoming, and I was super happy to be a part of it.
Thanks, guys.